Humans have always loved rituals, but some of them are downright terrifying. From bloody sacrifices to chilling vows, today we'll uncover 5 creepy rituals from history that will make you grateful to live in the present. In the heart of the sprawling Aztec Empire, a profound and terrifying belief took hold. Their cosmology was built upon a cosmic debt, a universe in constant peril. At the center of this belief was Huitzilopochtli, the insatiable god of the sun and war. The Aztecs believed he was locked in an eternal battle against the forces of darkness, a battle he could only win if nourished by the most potent substance imaginable, chalchihuatl, or precious water, human blood. Without this vital sustenance, the sun would fail to rise and the world would be plunged into an endless, catastrophic night. This wasn't just a belief, it was a sacred, urgent duty. To fulfill it, the Aztecs constructed monumental pyramids, stone stairways to the heavens. At the summit, before vast crowds, the rituals unfolded with brutal efficiency. Victims, often captured warriors from rival states in specially orchestrated flowery wars, were led up the steep steps. 4 priests would hold them down over a sacrificial stone, the Tecatl, arching their back to expose their chest. A 5th priest, wielding a razor-sharp obsidian knife, would then make a swift incision below the ribcage, reach into the chest cavity, and sever the still-beating heart. This pulsating organ was raised towards the sun, a direct offering to the hungry god. The now lifeless body was then cast down the temple steps, a chilling spectacle for the onlookers below. But the ritual didn't end there. The heads of the sacrificed were often flayed and displayed on enormous skull racks known as zompantli, some of which held thousands of skulls, a macabre testament to the empire's devotion and military might. The scale of these events is difficult to comprehend. During the rededication of the Great Pyramid of Tenochtitlan in 1487, historical accounts claim that over 4 days, tens of thousands of people met this fate. For the Aztecs, this was the ultimate act of piety, the necessary price to maintain cosmic order and ensure the survival of their world. It was a system where war, religion, and daily life were inextricably linked in a cycle of violence and devotion. To our modern sensibilities, it stands as one of the most profoundly disturbing and horrifying chapters in the annals of human history. The Vikings sealed their most sacred promises with blood. Warriors would slice their palms and press wounds together, swearing unbreakable loyalty. These blood oaths were binding. Breaking one was seen as a curse, inviting misfortune and even death. The great European witch hunts, spanning from the 15th to the 18th centuries, were a dark stain on history, fueled by a potent cocktail of religious fervor, social anxiety, and profound superstition. In this world, the devil was not a metaphor, but a real and present danger. This paranoia was codified in texts, like the infamous Malleus Maleficarum, or the Hammer of Witches, which provided a grim blueprint for identifying, prosecuting, and eliminating those deemed to be in league with Satan. These proceedings were not trials of evidence, but trials by ordeal, bizarre and cruel rituals where guilt or innocence was supposedly revealed by a direct sign from God. The logic was simple and terrifying. A divine being would surely intervene to protect the innocent from harm. One of the most notorious was the ordeal by water. The accused, typically a woman, would be bound, often with her right thumb tied to her left big toe, and thrown into a river or lake. The reasoning was steeped in twisted theology. Since a witch had renounced her Christian baptism, the pure water would reject her, causing her to float. This was taken as irrefutable proof of guilt, and she would be hauled out only to face execution. If she sank, the water had accepted her, proving her innocence. Unfortunately, this posthumous exoneration was of little comfort, as many drowned before they could be rescued. Another terrifying ritual was the search for the devil's mark. Witch-finders would strip the accused and meticulously search their body for a supposed mark left by the devil as a sign of their pact. Any blemish could be interpreted as this sinister seal. The area would then be pricked. If it didn't bleed or cause pain, it was considered proof positive of witchcraft. Unscrupulous witch-finders even used trick needles with retractable points to guarantee the desired outcome. Even the ability to speak was weaponized. In the prayer test, the accused was forced to recite passages from the Bible perfectly from memory. In a state of extreme terror, any mistake was not a sign of human frailty, but of the devil himself tying their tongue. These were not instruments of justice. They were mechanisms of murder, dressed up in the robes of religious ritual. Torture, superstition, and mass hysteria led to the deaths of tens of thousands. a grim reminder of how easily fear, when given a holy mandate, can become the deadliest ritual of all. In Japanese folklore, Ubasute describes the practice of abandoning elderly relatives on mountains to die, often in times of famine. Whether myth or history, it reflects the brutal choices faced in desperate times. To this day, the legend of Ubasute haunts Japanese storytelling as one of history's cruelest alleged rituals. The Egyptians believed preserving the body was essential for the afterlife. This wasn't just a belief, it was a cosmic necessity. For them, the soul had many parts, including the ka, or life force, and the ba, the personality. After death, these spiritual elements needed to reunite with the physical form to journey into eternity. If the body decayed, the soul would be lost forever, a fate more terrifying than death itself. This profound fear of oblivion gave rise to one of history's most elaborate rituals. The 70-day process began at the Ibu, the place of purification, where the body was washed with sacred Nile water. Then, it was moved to the Per Nefer, the House of Beauty, where the true grisly work would commence. But the process was eerie. Embalmers inserted a hooked rod through the nostrils, whisking the brain into a liquid and draining it out, discarding it as unimportant. Next, a small incision was made in the abdomen to remove the liver, lungs, stomach, and intestines. The heart, however, the seat of intelligence, was left inside, essential for the final judgment in the afterlife. The removed organs were dried and placed into these sacred canopic jars. The now empty body cavity was then stuffed with natron, a natural salt, and the entire body was buried in a mound of it for 40 days, drawing out every last drop of moisture to halt decomposition. Once desiccated, the wrapping began. Priests would meticulously wind hundreds of yards of linen bandages around the body, a process taking over 2 weeks. Between the layers, they placed magical amulets for protection, like the powerful scarab beetle over the heart, while chanting spells from the Book of the Dead to guide the deceased. Finally, priests performed the opening of the mouth ceremony, touching the mummy's mouth with ritual instruments to magically restore its senses. To the Egyptians, this was sacred, a guarantee of eternal life. But to us, the methodical disassembly and reassembly of a human being feels like one of history's strangest and most haunting rituals. Which of these creepy rituals shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want more eerie stories from the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a minute.